Hey everybody, welcome back to Retire Wealthy. I'm Craig O'Rourke and I have a really great guest today. I have Ron O'Neill, and Ron has been at the forefront of AI for many, many years. As a matter of fact, he was there pretty much at the inception, worked as a beta tester for a chat GPT, and now he is the founder and CEO of AI Intelligence Solutions. He does speaking engagements, he runs an AI workshop, and he's about to go speak to the U.S. Treasury Conference. So I'm really honored to have Ron here. And Ron, thank you so much for being with us today. And let's dive right in. I want to ask you, Ron. There's a lot of hype about the AI explosion over the past few years. Tell us this hype that everyone's talking about. What's it all about? Can you give us it in a nutshell?
Yeah, it's been interesting because, when ChatGPT 3.5 was released back in November 30th of 2022, the whole world, whether it was CNN, whether it was BBC, that everybody jumped on the bandwagon going, oh my God, it's going to change the world. And the whole thing is that if it's interesting who you ask, right? The whole thing is that if you walked into a school right now and, the students who are the biggest adopters to this technology, they love it, right? Because it's doing their homework for them. And there's obviously issues with that. But the thing is that the hype is real, and we have to put it into this context. We're only about 15 months in with this technology, and to see where it's gone from 15 months ago to today, the hype is real. And, because I evaluated it, when I first started beta testing it back in 2020, as I was saying, Craig, off air here, I found it was very basic. It was very rudimentary. And I didn't think by 2022, the fall of 2022, it would be at the level of creating newsletters and blogs and reaching out to your database with email responses and stuff like that. And the whole thing is that, it just seems like every day I'm waking up, Craig, and there's something new. And it's just not language output, because ChatGPT 4 and 3.5, in particular 4, it can create images now. Right, and also ChatGPT, or OpenAI system, it came out with Sora over a month ago. And what's crazy about Sora, that's a video generation platform. It creates AI videos in 4K quality. And if you think about this, if you were to ask me a year and a half ago and said, hey, Ron, do you think AI would be at the level of image creation to video creation? And I would have said no. And there's I don't know if you've seen this in the last 2 weeks, a new AI music creator called Suna came out, and it can create music, and with the full lyrics and everything else. I've probably created about over 300 songs in the last 2 weeks. And the other, what's also amazing is the cost, right? So the adoption rate and the explosion of this is just going to continue to grow, because we're not talking about, $30-$40 of producing one song. I'm talking about 2 or 3 cents to create a song now, right? So it is amazing, and it's moving really quickly. And the whole thing is that this always goes back to because it's moving so fast, Craig, we have to start to take a look at regulation as well. So that's important. So yeah, the hype is real. And I'm excited to be on that bandwagon of watching it and doing the research into the AI systems and educating others out there, and start to really adopt it in your day-to-day lives.
So, in keeping with the theme of the show, we're about talking about retiring wealthy. That's all about business, huh? So, what are some of the best practices when using technology, AI technology for your businesses? Can you share a few of those with us?
Yeah, so I always want to talk about the limitation, because AI is not perfect, and it's far from perfect. And one of the things is that talking about, say, for example, you're putting out a newsletter for your business. One of the big things is that I found that, let's say, for example, you ask it to create a 5-minute read on a blog, or create a 500 or 700 word blog on why it's important to invest in investment properties for your future and stuff like that. One of the key things that what I have found, that AI does hallucinate, right? So what ends up happening is you start to write something out, right? And so targeting downsizers or targeting investment properties or whatever the situation might be about the newsletter, what ends up happening is you ask it to create 700, it gets to word 500, let's say, for example, hypothetical. And then the last 200 words, like the first 500 words, beautiful. It was like spot on. It's the newsletter you ever dreamed about. But the last 200 words, what ends up happening is it starts to talk about how to make bread, right? So it goes on a complete tangent. And that's why we have to be careful when we're using this technology. We don't become over reliant on this. And I've seen this with lawyers, I've seen this scientists where they publish papers out there without even reading the output from the AI system. And the whole thing is that there's a great story about two lawyers in Western New York who was defending their client, went into ChatGPT 4 to create a couple of documents for the defense, presented to the judge. The judge went to her chambers, came back out and says, gentlemen, where did you get these? And they were so proud to say that they got it from ChatGPT 4. But the whole thing is that these case laws that they presented never existed because it hallucinated. The other thing is that what's also important to understand, AI has biases. Now, the biases is what I mean by that is that, let's say, for example, I'm just going to do this hypothetically. If it has, say, 10 gigabytes of information on how great chocolate ice cream is and only 1 gigabyte on strawberry ice cream. Well, what it's going to do is if you ask what is the best ice cream, it's going to be biased towards the chocolate ice cream. So the whole thing is that, we're still at step one. And I call it, we're still at the Model T forward stage. So just remember, it has biases, it has hallucinations, but check your outputs before you send anything out to your clients or your subscribers.
That's so interesting. It has hallucinations. I love that. So, let's talk for a minute about how this technology can be used, introduced into business technologies, because it seems like it's moving so fast, and it seems like every week there's a new AI system that's launched. I mean, how do you integrate this into your business practices and not feel like the next week you're already behind the eight ball?
Yeah, one of the big things is that whether it's email responses or basically taking a look at historical trends because it can analyze large amounts of data, right? So when it talks about your business, whether it's the financials or whether it's house price trends or stuff like that, what you can do is you can actually feed the AI system Excel documents or CSV files in there, and it'll actually identify trends that you don't even know. And that's a big thing is that that's what's great about it. It'll also create a great report. I was using a CSV file the other day on how many houses were selling in this one area. It created a report and it identified certain trends that I didn't even see. And again, that was just from the raw data from a CSV file. So that's one of the big things. The other thing is it's email responses, newsletters, social media content. That's a huge one as well. The whole thing is that one of the prompts I was working on this morning is create captions that have a 50% or higher open rate on the social media captions of this situation. And I presented the situation for my business, and it created 5 different captions, created the hashtags, it created the emojis, and it also created the images as well, right? So that's one of the big things is that it saves you time. It can teach you or create content that has a better, higher engagement rate with your subscribers or your clients.
Interesting. Wow. What a fascinating field you're in. I definitely want to have you back again. I so much appreciate your time. If you like this show, please subscribe, please hit the like button. And if you want to know more about Ron and his AI workshop or speaking engagements, please just hit the QR code down below. Ron, thank you so much. I really appreciate you coming on today. Have a great day.
Thanks.